Hey guys, so it's Tuesday morning. I'm headed uptown for an Under Armour Canada event. Today we're going to be testing out the Curry 6 with Steph Curry's actual trainer, Brandon Payne, and we're going to be meeting the designer of the Curry 6, Leon Gu. So it should be a pretty good event. I'm excited to try these on. Curry 4 I'm a big fan of. 5 was pretty good, so I'm hoping that the 6 should be like an evolution of the 4 and the 5. And yeah, so stay tuned.
With 2.4 miles per game on average night, and that's more than 95% of the league. And if you look at it, as I really think about it, it's like 130 times of the basketball court every night. That's like 130 times coast to coast run. It's pretty crazy. And then it's actually, I think they did a math, it's about a marathon, full marathon run per month for him. So like stability is like very important in basketball, as we know. So that's why we designed this speed plate. I'm gonna just grab this to talk about it. So this is actually the largest speed plate we've ever put in the Curry shoe compared to his previous model. Like covers from like toe to heel, and also actually it wraps from the lateral to the medial. So it transitioned from the lateral like stabilizer to a arch support, so that he get like that like stabilization from like every angle. He's always talking about traction like non-stop. Like when we asked him like the top 3 thing he wanted in his shoe, he said traction, traction, traction. He's always about traction, but also we look at the traction. The traction pattern is one thing, but also like how the traction decouples to align your foot to the ground is as important. So that's why we designed this like split pattern, so that the tooling can decouple and flex better. So that when he moves, there's always a traction for him, whether it's like for deceleration, acceleration, or change of direction. That he's always to get the top-notch level of traction. The traction pattern for me, like when I design a shoe, is like I feel like it's always the most personal part for a signature shoe. So when I asked Steph like, well, what did he want to put in his shoe, like from like a personal standpoint, he was like, there's this stucco pattern in the house that he grew up in, that he wanted to put in the traction pattern. That's why you see this brush strokes like inspired pattern that kind of like covered from the toe to heel, that it transformed into like a zonal traction for him, like some like personal story into the performance side.
To figure out what it's like to wear the shoe. He's going to take you through a series of drills so you can get a feel for what it's like. And then at the end of that, before we get to our CYBL guys for some shooters, I'm going to actually put you through one of the drills, 21, that Steph does. Do you think you can shoot? Who here thinks they're a shooter? They can ruin the game. A couple of these guys think they can shoot. We're going to put you through what Steph does at the end of his workout. Give it up to Brandon Payne, who came through.
Numbers wise, so we got enough space. We're going to line up on that sideline over there. We'll go through a little warm up here. So we can go ahead and head over there.
Alright guys, so the event has officially wrapped up. Initial thoughts, so I've tried the Curry 4, I've tried the Curry 5, and now the 6. And I'd say that the 6 by far is the most well-rounded Curry of the 3 that I've worn. It still gives you that ground feel, that low to the ground feel that Steph Curry really likes, but they've implemented hover foam, which really makes a big difference. Especially on the court, you can really feel the difference between, especially like the 4 that I've played a lot in, and then now the 6. There's a ton more impact protection for my feet. So with that said, I'm gonna go home, kind of gather my thoughts, and then give you guys a proper in-depth review of my experience playing in the 6. And yeah, so thank you guys for tagging along, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, so I'm back home now and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Curry 6. So first things first, let's get the details out of the way. So these drop on January 4th. It's nicknamed the Fox Theater colorway, and it's supposed to be honoring the city of Oakland, which Steph Curry considers his second home. These neon orange and green hits are supposed to represent the neon colored lights of the Fox Theater at night. So these are slated to have a retail price of $130 US, and I expect the Canadian retail price to be probably around 160 Canadian dollars. So jumping straight into the shoe, the upper of the Curry 6 is constructed using this knit material. The knit found on the forefoot area of the shoe is a sturdier knit that provides you more support and durability. Found at the very edge of the toe box, we have this overlay of fuse as well. As we move on to the back half of the shoe, so the knit here is much thinner and much more stretchy. Because this shoe is constructed using this one-piece booty-like fit, that means the stretchier knit is going to allow your foot to get into the shoe with much more ease. Running along the middle half of the shoe, we have this orange cable that essentially acts as the lace loops for the laces. And then the laces in this case is a flat style lace, and they have these neon green lace tips. And then we have the words of the town printed on the lace tips themselves. At the top of the tongue, we have this oval shaped piece of leather which has the Under Armour logo as well as the numbers 30 and 6. So not only does this represent Steph Curry's jersey number and the fact that this is the 6th signature sneaker for Steph Curry, but also what we were told from today's event is that the 36 also was a nod to a Bible passage as well. And then giving this shoe some additional pop, we have this neon green cord which acts as a tongue pull tab. Towards the back end of the shoe, you'll see orange knit intertwined with the black, giving it a nice contrast effect. And then surrounding the back heel, we have this rubberized heel counter which has the Under Armour logo debossed in the center. So the interior of these Curry 6 is constructed using this orange colored textile. We have additional padding around the back Achilles area. And then as we move on to the insole, so these come with a black colored insole, and then on the heel we have this graphic that says 10 in the town, and this represents the 10th year that Steph Curry has been in Oakland. So the upper of these Curry 6s sits atop this full-length hover foam midsole. This is the first Curry shoe that has featured hover foam technology, and boy does it make a difference. So if you take a closer look at this midsole, you'll see that it sort of has this honeycomb shape or netting effect to it, and this is basically how Under Armour contains the hover foam to ensure that it retains its responsiveness and feedback. Turning these over to the bottom, so here we have your outsole. So this is constructed using this semi-translucent rubber. You'll notice that it transitions from a green to a yellow and then back to a green at the toe. On the lateral edge of the midsole, you can see SC, which stands for Steph Curry. This is etched away from the rubber. And then found throughout the forefoot and the bottom heel, we have this cutaways that expose the hover foam underneath, and this really helps add flexibility and ensures that there's always some sort of point of contact with the ground, no matter how or what angle the foot's bending in. Sandwiched between the outsole and the hover foam, we have this speed plate, which is this translucent green plastic plate. This curves up and over onto the midsole itself, giving you additional stability, and then we have the Steph Curry logo once again. One small thing I want to point out is on the right foot only. On the speed plate, we have Steph Curry's signature along with the phrase, "I can do all things," which is commonly found on some of Steph Curry's other past models as well. Also, this might be a little bit hard to see, but on the forefoot area of the outsole, we have the names Ryan, Riley, and Aisha, which represent Steph Curry's family. From a sizing standpoint, so these do run true to size. I felt like the Curry 4 and the Curry 5 were a little bit snug, so as a result, for those two models, I had to go up to a 10.5, but in this case, the size 10 fit me perfectly. These are nowhere near as narrow as the 4s or the 5s, and incorporating this stretchy knit around the top of the shoe meant that I didn't feel any discomfort when lacing these up. So all in all, I'd recommend sticking true to size, but if you do have really wide feet, then maybe you'd want to consider going up a half size, but best bet, try them on in store when they land in January. Comfort wise, so these are definitely the most comfortable Curry that I've worn so far. Incorporating the hover foam on this shoe really elevated this shoe from a comfort standpoint, and I didn't even need to break them in straight out of the box. These already felt very good. With that said, the hover foam isn't going to be as soft as the foam found on, for example, the Under Armour Hover Phantom. Instead, they've tweaked it in such a way that it gives you that perfect balance between cushioning and responsiveness, while at the same time not losing the ground feel, which is so important for a player like Steph Curry. In terms of the traction of this shoe, which is, if you guys didn't know, the #1 requirement of Steph Curry when they're designing the shoes, I had zero problems from a traction standpoint. With that said though, I was playing on a super clean court, so your mileage may vary if your court that you're playing on isn't the most clean. From all the drills we were doing, I really tested this from both side-to-side movement and front to back, and at no point did I feel like I was losing my footing on the court. So overall, I'd say that this still retains the core concepts of the Curry 4 and 5, specifically court feel and traction, but Under Armour has been able to tweak it and improve it so that it feels much more of a well-balanced and more well-rounded basketball shoe. As someone who prefers the Kyrie series of basketball shoes to play in, I feel like these are right up there and these will definitely be added to my ball rotation. So if you guys are more of a quicker basketball player that really gets up and down the court, makes hard cuts, and wants a shoe that has great stability and excellent traction, then you should definitely consider wearing the Curry 6. If you are more, for example, a bigger player that likes more impact protection, then maybe this shoe is not going to be for you. But as I said earlier, with the implementation of hover foam, these are probably worth a try as well. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the Under Armour Curry 6 in the Fox Theater colorway. And if you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a follow on Instagram at esco8, check out my Twitter at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. Before I sign off, one final thank you goes out to Under Armour Canada and Foot Locker Canada for hosting such a great event and hooking us up with these shoes. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.